Alright, welcome back to another PD2 video, Project Diablo 2. We have new Season 8 starting today. I haven't made a lot of videos for the game lately because I just haven't really been playing it. However, they did make a significant change to the game for Paladin here. They added this new skill, they got rid of conversion, which wasn't really used for anything. And they replaced it with this Holy Sword. So imbues a two-handed sword, keyword sword, with holy energy, allowing the user to parry attacks and spells. The and spells part is important, and deals extra damage to demons and undead. So, so two things. It parries spells, so this works similar to the Amazon spell for dodging. So this is really strong for mapping where you've got all kinds of spells coming at you, especially those harpies that shoot those little magic ball things. Another huge change to the landscape here for Paladin is that you were always locked into using a shield, because if you used a two-hander, you just died. You were just paper thin. You get hit once or twice, hit recovery, and you're done. So this gives you basically block with a two-hander. Few caveats. You can only use swords, so I don't know why they did that. They should have opened it up to axes and pole arms, and hammers, because then that would bring a lot more diversity to the build here. But nevertheless, it's still a good change. I think next season they will open it up. It doesn't really make sense that it's just swords. I mean, it's called Holy Sword, whatever. You can call it like Holy Weapon or something. So, yeah. So the only other thing that's kind of related that was changed to this is that Sanctuary now uses it as a synergy. So we're not doing Sanctuary in this build. This is a physical charge build. Few reasons why. You're still not blocking, and the parry is fine, but you know when you do take damage, you need to recover it back, because you don't have as much defense. Obviously, when you use Holy Shield on a shield, you get a buttload of defense, which means you're not actually getting hit. So you will be taking more damage with Holy Shield. So we do want physical damage so that we can lifesteal and get that back. That's the main reason. Now they've also, over the last couple seasons, done a lot of work on charge to make it more viable. And they've also, I mean, they've done a bunch of things. Like this season, they uncapped crushing blows, so now it's 100%. Now it works on bosses. Last season they buffed a bunch of things that did enhanced damage to get like all the melee classes up. Splash got kind of reworked, so now last season's changed to melee splash. It used to be where when you did a melee splash, it was only your uh, white damage or like unskilled damage, so like this, the attack. But now it uses charge or zeal or whatever physical enhanced ability you have on your melee splash. So that's huge. So that with this, and they fixed a bug. I'll just bring over the little changes. So over here we have from season 7 was the charge changes. So when you're charging, longer you charge, you get a bigger splash. This is kind of like flavor that you're not really benefiting from this all the time, especially maps. You're gonna be close to stuff, so it's not really anything, but it is nice. Now you will always charge in melee range instead of doing a normal attack. This is a huge buff to charge, because charge has like up to 2,000 enhanced damage on it. So when you were charging and you were in melee, you were not doing your charge damage. So you always had to back up and come back in. So that was really annoying. So this is a huge buff, quality of life, and more damage. And there was a bug that was fixed, apparently. Last season, well, the charge bug is still there where you get stuck and you have to swap your weapons, but another bug was fixed this season where it wasn't doing as much damage as it should have been doing. So as a result of that, they've nerfed it a bit, but it's still extremely strong. So yeah, that's why we're doing charge, and we'll get into the stat priorities. So a couple things you want. So mana leech, you want life leech. Okay, those two things to get your resources back to play your character. So, you know, a little bit of each, and preferably more life leech is required. Crushing blow, deadly strike are huge damage boosting abilities. So crushing blow does a big percentage of the target's health per hit. Now this doesn't apply to melee splash, just your single target. So but still helpful. Now deadly strike does splash. So when you crit, your melee splash will crit. So deadly strike is extremely powerful because it doubles your damage output. So deadly strike still caps at 75%. It's very hard to get even close to 100% anyway, so don't worry about that. You want at least 50% deadly strike in an endgame build. The more the better. And crushing blow, you know, anything over 45 is going to be fine. It's really just for bosses and elites and things that are thicker. You want, you know, you want all resist. So like general stats, you want to be at res capped or a little bit above. You're going to want a ton of life because you don't want to be put into hit recovery. So you're going to dump most of your stats into vitality. And you want a lot of strength, enough strength to wear your gear. You're going to get a lot of strength from your gear too. And a decent chunk of dexterity. Now you're not blocking, so dexterity doesn't affect your block rate. However, you don't want to be missing. We're not running ignores target defense because they don't really have that on a lot of the good items in PD2. So you still want to have a high dexterity so that your attack rating's high. That's why I put enough points into there. Yeah, so those are the stat priorities. In terms of the abilities, this is a level 90 character, so there is a little bit of wiggle room. You do have enough points to put most of your stuff in by level 80. So first of all, we're going to max out Holy Sword. It doesn't have any synergies. That's fine. We're going to max that out. So the reason we're maxing this out is that it raises the parry chance. It also increases damage to demons and undead, which is very good to have. And it also, you know, increases the length. And you're going to be dodging spells as well. So it's extremely defensive and offensive. And it's the new spell, so yeah, we're going to max it. The main ability we're going to use is Charge. So Charge has two synergies, Vigor and Might. So Vigor's here and Might's here. And then whatever leftover points you have, I like to put them into the resistances to get those up a bit. I like 1 point in redemption. If I'm in a map where lifesteal is not really a thing because they're undead, in PD2 you can't lifesteal off undead, then you want to be able to swap to redemption to get all your health and mana back. There's no shortage of corpses. None of the offensive auras are worth using. I'll get into that later, but our active aura is going to be Vigor. And Vigor is maxed, so that's great. That's the stat priority. Let's look at the gear. So on the swap, we have Call to Arms and Lidless. I'm just going to go out here and cast it because I'm using plug Y and it's kind of wonky. But yeah, Call to Arms and Lidless. The weapon of choice here is an Mithril 5-socketed Colossus sword with enhanced damage into a death rune ward. So in the past I've kind of bashed on death, but for this instance it is the best thing to get because Deadly Strike and Crushing Blow are hard to get without getting into the other reasons, but this is a big chunk of those two sources of damage. And also the enhanced damage is really high. So putting this on a big two-hander is why I like the death more, because the enhanced damage just goes further. So endgame items, I mean, there are some other options. You can use BOTD. That can be made in swords now. You can use a Pride, I think. There's a few other options that are pretty high up there. You can use a Grandfather. Grandfather got changed. It's now 2 to all skills, which is going to help. Death is the best one, and Death is really cheap. It's just a Vex Skull. So for an endgame rune word, Death is is very affordable. You also get the blood golem, which is fun. Gives you some life back when he hits. It's got mana steal, which you need. It's got the bonus attack rating, which I said we needed earlier. The glacial spike is just for flavor, and it's, you know, indestructible. So you can put it in an Mithril item, and it's pretty good. Another thing I'll note, when you cast a new ability, if you look at my sword, right, it's Mithril, so it's kind of see-through. You can't really see it. But once I cast the ability, it makes it kind of white or chrome. So I like that because I never really liked how the Mithril weapons look. So it's just a little flavor thing. That's cool. For the helm, Veil of Steel. So your main two sources of damage, other than Crushing Blow and Deadly Strike, are going to be all skills and enhanced damage. Now, all skills, why? Well, Charge actually scales really well with all skills. It's 25 enhanced damage per 1 to all skill. And also, 1 to all skills is going to buff our Vigor, which I explained, it increases our damage, and Might. Now, sometimes you'll be using Might, sometimes you'll be using Vigor. I'll get into that in a bit, but basically all skills, you can treat it as having 45 enhanced damage per all skill, which is pretty good. So, and then this helm also has enhanced damage on it as it is, and it's got all res. So we need all res. It's hard to get res capped with this gear because we're not using a shield. You can see with perfect Annie and Torch and all resistance charms, we take this off, it's no good. Same with the Fortitude. So Fortitude is the best armor for physical because it has 300% enhanced damage, and it has all resist. So it's just really good. No other substitutions here. For the amulet, you can either do Atmas for the amplify damage, which you're going to need on certain things that are immune. If you are doing maps where there aren't any immunes, then you can put on a High Lords, because you'll get a little bit more Deadly Strike, putting you at the cap, and also 1 to all skills, and lightning res and absorb and all that. So, but I like Atmas because having amp damage never hurts, and also, you know, it's got the big attack rating bonus, so that helps too. Makes things smooth. For the gloves, there are no other options here. Basically, Soul Drainers are just way and above beyond any other physical glove because of the enemy physical pierce. So that's huge. It also has dual mana and life leech, which is really nice. For the rings, we want a Ravenfrost and a Wisp. So we cannot be frozen from any other source. If you slam that in a Wisp, great. You don't have to wear a Ravenfrost. You can put on another Sodge or BK ring for another 1 to all skills. That'll help. But Ravenfrost has good stats. It has cold damage, 20 dex, you know, cold absorb. These are all decent stats, so it's really not a bad ring. It's not a feel bad thing to equip a Ravenfrost. It's actually decent. So, and of course you can slam Ravenfrosts and get good slams. Wisp Protector is 1 to all skills, so like I said, it's enhanced damage there. Lightning Absorb is great, but the real reason we have it is for Heart of the Wolverine. So this is a level 5 Heart of the Wolverine. It's like, I think 80% enhanced damage, or maybe 60, which is really good. For the belt, it's a Nos coil for basically the Deadly Strike. Oh, I didn't explain it yet, but attack speed doesn't matter for charge. Charge uses your velocity and movement speed for its attack speed. So anything that says increases attack speed doesn't for charge. So you can just ignore that. Deadly Strike is what we're after here, and the lifesteal helps, and the man after each kill helps. Boots are Gore Riders. Gore Riders have the Deadly Strike that we're severely lacking everywhere else, so definitely want those. Deadly Strike goes really well, Crushing Blow goes really well, and 30% faster run walk. So The fastest boots in the game are those blue ones that are new. They're 60%, but they don't have any other good stats. So 30 is pretty good. Yeah, and then for charms, believe it or not, combat skillers are better than max damage ones, because each combat skiller is 25% enhanced damage basically. So yeah, it pulls ahead slightly. It pulls ahead by slightly. I'll be honest, it's not much more ahead than full 10 max charms, but those 10 max damage charms are way more expensive than skillers, so not worth it. Any torch and then all resist. So yeah, that's the build for me. And then for the Merc's really important. This Merc is Blessed Aim Act 2 Merc, so he's going to give us Deadly Strike, about 16% I think. And also you get enhanced damage from Blessed Aim now. Well, that's his native aura. Then he's wearing Templar's Might to give us Might aura. And that's why we're running Vigor, because the difference between our Might and his is like maybe 2k damage, but with Vigor we have like more than double the attack speed. So obviously attacking twice as fast is better than, you know, I don't know, 5% more damage. So we give him that, because why not? We're going to have Might aura there. And then Pride. So Pride gives us Concentration aura, which is a bunch of enhanced damage and uninterruptible attacks. Speaks for itself. It's just a damage source. And then, of course, on a Merc, you want all Ethereal gear, because it doesn't break, to give him higher defense values. And I've just given him pretty much the standard Merc gear so he survives. I'll go show you a map. Hopefully this still works. Yeah, okay, it does. No, it doesn't. Okay, hold on a sec. Just rejoin this game really quick. So yeah, with Plug Y, if you're not wearing the lidless and the call to arms, it doesn't let you use it. So I'll just grab another one of these. Yeah, this one looks fine. So this is a tier 3 map. We're going to buff ourselves. And we're going to get Heart of the Wolverine out. So we've got battle orders and all that for extra life and skills. And then we've got Heart of the Wolverine. I'll show you with Might our damage. So we're 14k to 29k. Fully buffed. All our auras ready to go. If I put on Vigor, we drop on our low end 1k, and we drop about 4k on the high end. So that's not really a significant change to our damage output, straight damage wise, but with Vigor you'll see the attack speed is twice as much. So I'll leave Might on for now, and we'll just start fighting here. It's kind of a bad hallway, but you'll notice that pretty much one-shotting everything. This is with Might on, right? 14 to 29k. I'll put on Vigor, and we're still one-shotting everything, but our attack speed is double. So maybe it's more than double. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how the attack speed frames work with that. If someone wants to chime in exactly how it works, that would be cool. But yeah, it's very fun. It's very fast, and the survivability is pretty good. There are definitely tankier builds, but you know, when you're max range and you're charging and you charge into a big clump and you get that huge boost in the AoE, it just feels really good. So, and yeah, the kill speed is extremely fast. Solo. gameplay speak for itself here. And tier 3 map is this one here, the River Bloods. It's pretty punishing. Like, you get a lot of curses off on you. A lot of the mobs are undead, so you're not exactly healing as much as you normally would. A lot of ranged attacks coming in from the archers. Just deal with this clump of, oh yeah, sometimes you get stuck with the bug still. But yeah, that's that. Yeah, that's the end game build. And now I'm going to show you a starter build. So normally I don't do that, but I went ahead and made a starter build character here. It's level 97, but I haven't used a lot of the stat points. And like I said earlier, like a lot of the skill points are redundant. So let's take a look at this guy. So this is something you should be able to get, you know, within like, you know, the first couple days of playing. I imagine in a week or 2 weeks, all of the items here in this build will be basically free. And on the trade site, you can probably get all of these items for 1 world stone shard, or maybe less. So it's exactly the same skills and stats as before, right? Strength, dex, vitality. We're doing the exact same thing, except we're actually going to be using might instead of vigor. Although maybe you could still use vigor. I'm not sure. I didn't really test that, but the damage difference is only 2k. So yeah, let's look at the gear because that's what's important. Here's the starter build. So let's start with the helm. So G-face, clean or dirty G-face, especially a dirty one that didn't roll good, is going to be like free or a world stone shard. Lionheart is a foul rune, so this is like something you can make yourself just from playing the game. Lionheart has a bunch of useful stats: all resistance, life, energy, and enhanced damage. G-face, of course, has deadly strike and crushing blow. Mavina's belt has faster run walk, which increases our attack speed, and also mana steal, and it's basically free. And we're going to be wearing Mavina's gloves for the cannot be frozen. It also just has a bunch of dex and strength, which is cool. And when you have a 2-piece, you get another 20 strength. And because we're a 2-hander build and we're physical, the strength actually does matter for us. It gives us a bunch of damage. Boots are going to be goblin toe. You can up these if you like, but basically we're using these for the enhanced damage and the crushing blow. And that's another reason why we're using the Mavs belt, is because these boots only have 20% faster run walk. With the Mavs, it puts us at 40. You can up these to get more defense for a starter build, but I wouldn't invest too much into it. Again, these are free. All of this stuff is basically free. And then for the rings, you know, if you're playing, hang on to your rings and your runes and do some crafts. So I just went with some blood crafts. I crafted five of each and just picked the best ones. Basically, we're looking for all resistance and a high lifesteal. So that's what I got. And a blood amulet for faster run walk, again, because it increases our attack speed. And you're looking for just all resist. And if you got 2 to paladin skills or 1 or combat, that would be great too, but I just did 5 of each, and these are the ones I ended up with. And then the weapon. So the best weapon is this thing. It's a barbarian rune word that basically is a foul rune. You need a 6-socketed Colossus blade, which might be a little hard to find, but I'm sure you can get one for, you know, a reasonable price, or find your own. It doesn't have to be ethereal, it doesn't have to be enhanced damage, just like whatever. So maybe 1 world stone shard or a couple. The reason this thing is so good is it has huge enhanced damage, so up to 350, which is really, really high. You know, that's basically the same as death. It has this weird thing with taunt on striking, which is cool. Combat skills for barbs, but that doesn't apply to us. It's got some damage to undead. It's got a lot of lifesteal, which is great. Prevent monster heals, whatever. The rest of the stats aren't really relevant. It's basically just a big stick with enhanced damage on it. You can see the range on it. It's 300 to 600. That's really pretty good for considering what the runes are. We don't have anything on the swap. And our charms are just going to be your leveling, right? So you're just going to have a bunch of random resistance charms. These are the ones that Plug Y gives you. Obviously, they're perfect, but you can see I have spaces open, and I'm pretty much capped. So, you know, fill your inventory with whatever charms you can find. There's some other options, too, for weapons. So, Vile Husk, like, and these are, all three of these are basically free. Like, nobody uses these for anything. People just leave them on the ground. Like, they don't even pick them up. Like, Doombringer might be the only one that people might pick up for their Merc. But I doubt it. Vile Husk, they might use it on an Act 5 Merc, but there's better options. Vile Husk, the reason you use this is for the amp damage. So you can see it basically halves our damage output, but it has amp damage, so it's about the same amount of damage, and it'll break immunes. So if you can get your hands on that, great. If not, make the rune word. If you can't find a 6-socketed rune word, just get yourself a sword guard or a Doombringer. So sword guards are free as hell, and the good thing about sword guard is it has 30 all res, so that'll help out a lot with your charms if you can't find good charms. If you have the charms and you're good, Doombringer is very high damage and also increases your life by 15%. So that is really good, and the weekend is, you know, it's decent. So let's do a tier 1. Oh, and the Merc, I just have full Juanins or whatever. I don't know how to pronounce it. On my Merc, this is a free set. It's garbage, and I just gave him cannot be frozen boots and whatever that was there. So let's go into a tier 1 map, because this is like, you know, what you'll be doing. And let's put on this sword, and let's give ourselves the buff for the parry. And yeah, let's start with using Might. I've got some knockback going on from something. I'm not sure what that is. Is it this? Something's doing some knockback, which is cool, but alright. Yeah, we're on a tier 1 map, and other than these demon steeds, which have 1 billion health, most stuff is just dying. So, oh, that hurts. Oh, they got fanaticism aura, so yeah, that's gonna be deadly. Yeah. Okay, let's try again without fanaticism aura. Again, this is a starter build that's basically free. So let's go back to these, and let's try let's try this one. I don't have my Merc now, but that's fine. So anything with a lot of undead or demons is going to be better for you because of the Holy Sword. But it's not like required for you to kill stuff. It's just like extra damage. Yeah, so it's like fairly decent clear speed, and it's pretty safe if you've got, you know, health pots. I don't have my Merc on me right now, so my defense is like 700. So I'm pretty much always getting hit. So yeah, let's just change the weapon here. Let's go Vile Husk. So this is the one that makes us do significantly less damage. But now we're going to have amplified damage procs. And let's also put on Vigor. I'm pretty sure Vigor would still be better. Yeah, so it is a little bit trickier when you don't have much defense, because you're always getting hit. And amplify damage just does not proc, eh? Look at this. It's pretty bad. It hasn't procced once. There we go. Yeah, so I don't think I recommend using this. Not very good. One last thing I'll end the video with here is this new sword. Actually, I'll do it on the good character, with all the good gear. So they added a new sword to the game. We'll take a look at it. It's a two-handed sword, and it's supposed to be, you know, supporting this type of build called Leoric's Mithril Bane. So it's not really, it's an elite sword, right? But it's not like if you compare it to the rest, the top end is much lower, and it doesn't have anything that makes it, you know, ethereal in terms of indestructibility or repairs durability. You could put a Zod rune in it, but yeah, Joust gets reduced 2 to Pally skills, and it's got this reanimate ability. Yeah, let's just throw one on and see how it goes. Go up here. Let's take a look at what these reanimates look like. It might not work on plug Y. I haven't seen a single one yet. Maybe I have to leave it equipped and then join the game like the other weapon. Let's see. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, it spawns the dudes who use charge, so that's cool. I don't think it's any good, but it's about half the damage as our other sword. But who knows, actually, having an army of these things might be really good. Because they charge, and if they've got Vigor Aura... I don't know. Let's just test it out here. I'll go back to town, get my Merc, and let's do a map. Maybe it's really cool. Where's the one? Royal Crypts. Yeah. Let's try Royal Crypts. Oh, that's cool. Puzzle box. We're not going to be healing much in here, that's for sure. Let's take a look here. It'd be nice if these reanimate targets would come with you when you use Joust, but they don't. They just kind of take their time. I mean, it's still a good sword. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. The charge bug is pretty devastating if you're using a two-hander, because if you're just sitting there, I don't think you can parry. I don't think the holy sword thing actually functions. Yeah, let's just see if they can kill anything on their own. I doubt it, but let's see. No, they don't do anything. It's cool to see them, but I don't think they do any damage. Well, they do a little bit of damage. I Maybe that's just my Merc though. It's hard to tell. But yeah, it's a neat flavor sword. Leoric sword, right? He summons undead. So I like how it's 2 to pally skills. But yeah, I'm just kind of rambling now. I'm playing. This season I'll probably do Paladin again and try to make this work. And do some mapping, see how that goes. I do like the addition they made this season with the little icons here by your belt, so that you can see what you actually have. Because I used to always do this, and that was annoying. I did also try Sanctuary with the 2-handed charge, and it's okay. It doesn't really benefit from having what do you call it? Like the 2-handed weapon. The benefit is that it does way more damage than a 1-handed weapon, right? But Sanctuary is not physical damage, so it doesn't really do much. It's kind of just worse. So yeah. Yeah, really strong. Pretty quick, like very quick. If things aren't really in your way and you can get a long charge in, it does do a lot of damage. And I do like these risen ally dudes. It's kind of cool. And they get all buffed up from all our auras, so that's pretty neat. I'll put Redemption on just to show you how much safer everything is with Redemption. In a map like this where you're really not lifestealing, Redemption just like keeps you alive. And our damage is still really high, like even with this junk item. I have a whole bunch of them summoned now. I wonder if I put on another weapon, if they kind of, yeah, they don't disappear, so that's neat. Yeah, maybe that's something you could do. You could summon a little army, because I guess they tank stuff, right? They take the aggro and they take hits. Oh, some kind of event. Oh, Geed. I've never seen him. Huh. Wow, that's expensive. Let's just sell all this and see what happens. Grim Reaper. Don't have enough gold. That's cool. Never seen him yet. Yeah, very strong. And I think finally we have a physical charge build in PD2 that is, you know, A+ S tier. Don't know if it's like the best, but it's certainly not shit. So if that's what you want out of your Paladin, you can actually play it now and not feel like you're wasting your time. That charge bug is really annoying. It is what it is. Okay, I'm going to end the video there.